In learning objective B, we're going to graph a one variable inequality. So for example, they might have us graph x is less than or equal to 2 on normal graph paper. So they're going to have us go to the XY ordered pair graph paper and not a standard number line like we did before. So it's a little bit different. Here's the steps you can follow. The first thing is you're going to graph the boundary line of the inequality and use a dotted line when you graph it if it's a less than or greater than symbol, but use a solid line if you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Now after you have that line drawn on the XY graph paper, then you have to test a point because you have to shade. So what you do is test a point that is not on the boundary line to see whether it is a solution of the inequality. Then shade the correct half plane. And let me just show you what I mean. Let's do an example. Here's a one variable equation, again, using XY graphing paper though. So we need to go back and remember this. They want us to graph this inequality. I'm going to imagine it was an equation. So I think, how the heck again did we graph if it said y equals -1? Remember, we went to the y-axis and found -1, which is right here. And then we had to decide if it was a vertical or horizontal line. Remember, y equals, it does not go with the y-axis, it's just the opposite. So when you draw it, you're going to draw your line. Now, step one says, wait a second, before you draw that line, look and see what the inequality symbol is. If it has an equal to sign with it, then your line should be solid. If this symbol, though, had been just greater than, then this line I drew in blue should have been a dotted line. Okay. Now, step two says this. Pick a point on either side of this line, but don't have it be on the line. Okay, here's a point right here. That's the point 0, 0, which stands for an ordered pair of x and y. And then they say, okay, put that ordered pair back into the inequality. So in this inequality here, which is originally y is greater than or equal to -1, I need to put a value in for y. Well, on here, y is 0. So I go ahead and I put y of 0 into there. And the statement would say 0 is greater than or equal to -1. And you ask yourself, is that true? Is 0 greater than or equal to -1? Sure, it's greater than. Yes, it's true. So that means the upward side of this blue line is the actual correct side. So then you shade everything in that region. Which means any ordered pair in that blue region would actually work in this inequality. So for example, what if I chose the ordered pair, right here we have -2, that's the ordered pair -2, 2. If I chose that, what I would do is take the y, which is 2, and put it in here, and it would say 2 is greater than or equal to -1, which is true. Well, all of these ordered pairs are viable solutions to that inequality. Now, if we had checked this side right here, if we put in that ordered pair 0, 0, and it came back, hey, it's false, then it would mean that's the wrong side, and by default, I would just shade the lower end. I wouldn't have to test it again. Let's do another graphing of a one variable inequality. And how I like to start again is I like to imagine it said x equals -2 instead, just for graphing. So I go to the -2 on the x-axis. And I don't go with the x-axis because I wouldn't see it. If that helps you, I would go vertically. So before you draw it, stop and think, do you do a solid or dotted line? Well, there's no equals to on here. It's just the less than, so I actually do the dotted line. By the way, a nice hint too, if you had the equals to on there, I always remember that includes the line, that's a solid line because it has the line in it. So it's kind of a helpful little trick. Okay, now this time I'm going to pick, again, an ordered pair not on the line itself. I like to pick 0, 0 if it's not being used because it's just a nice clean ordered pair. Again, that represents x and y. So I need to plug this ordered pair in there. The only thing from the ordered pair I'm going to take is that x was 0, so put that there. 0 less than -2. And you ask yourself, is 0 less than -2? No, it's greater than. So no, this is false, which means the right-hand side of this black line is the wrong side. So by default, I don't have to test this side. This is where all my answers are, is on that side.